In October 2007, there was a global industrial designers conference, and thousands of delegates had gathered in San Francisco. All the hotels were fully booked, and people were struggling to find a decent accommodation. Two gentlemen who wanted to make a quick buck invited a couple of guests to their small apartment, provided them with air beds and breakfast the next morning, and made their first earning of $80. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the beginning of Airbnb, which is today valued at $75 billion, more than the combined valuation of Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt. And if you understand finance and you look at their balance sheet asset side, they do not own any of these properties. The valuation of $75 billion comes from the idea, the intellectual property, the network, and the huge database of buyers and sellers that is gathered as a part of their business. Here's another interesting story. This was in the winters of 2008. Two friends were attending the annual tech meet in Paris, and after waiting for a very long time, were unable to find a taxi to go back to their hotel. But they could see a number of private cars moving in the same direction as their hotel. One of them said, if somehow we can connect these car drivers with these passengers, it will be a win-win and also a win. That was the beginning of Uber, which is today valued at $55 billion. Again, without owning a fleet of cars. But they have a platform and a database of car drivers who are willing to offer their services, and a database of passengers who would like to avail those services. Now, if you look at both these businesses, Airbnb and Uber, the market for their services is potentially unlimited, both from the demand side as well as the supply side. These two are classic examples of the art of the possible powered by digital in action. Now, this is interesting, very interesting. Humans use less than 10% of their real intelligence, yet we are relentlessly focused on expanding the frontiers of artificial intelligence. Interesting, isn't it? Now, this 10% would be an indicative number, but imagine what humans can achieve if they utilize their real potential. Now, where the humans have done well is, they have used this 10% real intelligence in creating a limitless potential called artificial intelligence, which as a civilization has taken them to the next level. That's the good news. The bad news is, if we continue to underutilize our real potential, we will slowly deplete our power to think, our capacity to retain memory, and our ability to analyze and make effective decisions. And just like Homo sapiens lost their tail because they never used it, we might probably lose all those unique features which make us human. And the alarm bells should ring if you, sitting in this auditorium, so proud of your memory, are unable to remember your wife's mobile number, or for that matter, your own mobile number. Well, but that is not our topic for today. My talk is all about a celebration of the glorious history of humans as a race and what lies ahead for the next generation. So here we go. It all started when Adam and Eve picked up the first apple from the forbidden tree. Life then was a bliss. The two humans were immortal. But the moment they had the first bite, the cycle of life had started. So that was the first apple which changed human life. Years later, a young, inquisitive man was sitting under an apple tree when an apple fell right on top of his head. Why would the apple descend perpendicularly towards the earth crust, he thought. This man invented the calculus, the laws of motion, the law of optics, the improvised version of the telescope, all before he was 26. But the most profound discovery of Sir Isaac Newton was the law of universal gravity, which led to many more inventions and discoveries in future. So that was the second apple that changed human life. And just to complete the series, the apple series, here's the third apple, which today is an integral part of our lives and continues to surprise us with new innovations and features every September to make our lives easier. So this, on a lighter note, were the three apples that changed human life. Now, in the earlier years of civilization, humans spent most of their time and efforts building the basic components. The wheel, the wheelbarrow, the clock, the compass. And in the next 1000 years, they spend their time developing products out of these components. Now in the picture you see Galileo's original telescope, the first oil well, the cell phone, the pill, so on and so forth. While the last 1000 years have been great in terms of innovations and discoveries, it is the last 60 years which have been absolutely mind-blowing. And we, as humans sitting in this auditorium, should feel very lucky and privileged to be a part of this glorious journey. What you see in this picture is the first professional computer with a capacity of 5 MB that is being loaded into the aircraft. 5 MB. Today, a 5 seconds Instagram reel is more than 20 MB. Now, what if I tell you that the phone that you're holding in your hand is more powerful than the computer that took man to the moon? Well, I can go on and on. But isn't this great? Where we are able to see this happening right in front of our eyes. And I'm sure you will also agree to William Shakespeare when he says, "What a piece of work is a man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculties." How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties. Well, that was a short celebration of the glorious history of humans as a race. Now let us see what is in store for the next generation that is sitting in this auditorium. Earlier, it would take years, and that was in my generation, or maybe even the previous generations. Earlier, it would take years, or maybe decades, for an impactful change to be visible. Now it takes days. So, in the picture, you see some jargons. These jargons are going to be an integral part of the next generation. In fact, we are going to see a tsunami of digital interventions powered by artificial intelligence in the immediate future itself. Be it education, engineering, business, medical sciences, healthcare, defense, sports, or even personal relationships, these are going to dominate. Now, if you look at some of the jargons, robotics, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning would be the basic tools at workplace. Big data would be used for advanced analytics to make effective decisions. We are going to see an emergence of hum bots, where humans and bots will coexist at a workplace. Machines in factories. Machines in factories would be operated and also maintained remotely using Internet of Things or IoT devices. Humans, in fact, will have to significantly alter and enhance their own skills if they have to be relevant. Accountants, doctors, lawyers, teachers will have to significantly change their service delivery model. And all this is not future. This is actually happening as we speak. Now, as a management consultant, I am seeing a significant change even in the business environment. From a value perspective, from a pure business value perspective, oil will be replaced by data, highways by networks, electricity by algorithms, warehouses by cloud storages, and assembly lines by dashboards. The art of the future, powered by digital, is limitless. It is for us humans to decide what to use, when to use, how to use, how much to use, and where to draw the line. So, a very pertinent question. Do humans have a role to play in the futuristic robotic world? Well, the answer is yes. Well, while the robots will be able to do a lot of tasks that are being currently done by humans, there are three things that they will never be able to do. One, dare to dream the impossible. Number two, find hope in a hopeless situation. And number three, wildly celebrate small victories, just like I'm going to do today. Thank you.